Hello everybody, it's Tom Seidner, and in this video I want to talk about a game that I really enjoy playing, and that game is Combat Arena. And this one is specifically Clash of Champions. Now there's been multiples of this game. This is a Warhammer game. It's a Warhammer board game in their board game line. This has been out for a while. It started out as a game called Gorchasm. Then there was Combat Arena, the second edition, and then there was this one, the Combat Arena Clash of Champions. This is where I got into the game, is Clash of Champions. I have been lucky enough to get an older copy of the second edition, and so I do have some of those figures too, but this one is the one that I purchased just on a whim and just fell in love with this game. This game is a really fun game to play at a game night when you just want to bash your friends in the face. So pretty much that's what this game is. This game is a game of bashing your friends in the face. It's a very quick game. You can play it in about 35 to 40 minutes, and it's just a whole lot of fun. Now, the one thing about this version of the game that I thought was a con is that you can only play 4 players. This would be really fun to play with a bunch of players, but this is only set up for 4 players. It only comes with 4 figures, and so we'll kind of talk about that a little later in the video. So let's go ahead and look at how this game is played, and then we're going to talk about why Tom is talking about a game that you may not even be able to get anymore on a video in 2023. So Combat Arena is a game where you choose a champion, you take their champion card, you take all 4 cards for your champion, so all champions have 4 cards. You take some dice, you set out a pile of action cards, you set out a pile of injury cards, and you go to town bashing your friends in the face. So I know I can't say that enough, but every time I play this game it makes me giggle inside a little because I just get to bash my friends in the face. So what you do is you decide who's playing. So here we've got it set up for a 4-player game. You look on the energy track, and on the energy track everybody's set to 3 to start the game. So you take 3 of everybody's cards. So you take 3 from each hero. You place them in, and then you shuffle the hero deck. And this is going to be your activations. So in this game, and one of the most fun things about this game is that in this game, you do not know when your activations are coming up. So you can run up to smash somebody in the face and then find out that they get 4 activations, or 3 in this case, and find out that they get 3 activations to just smash you back before you can do anything. So there is a lot of gambling in this game, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs involved in this game when we play because, you know, somebody will do something, they'll run up and just get completely surrounded and just completely annihilated. So let's go over a quick round of this game. First of all, everybody's going to get 5 cards from the action deck. So each player gets 5 cards. And on these 5 cards, you're going to have 3 different areas of the card. I'm going to show you a card here. So this is the Swift Step card. And you're going to see that at the top it has a movement. In the middle it has an attack. And at the bottom it has a defensive maneuver. So each one of these cards are set up in the same way. Here's the dash card. It has a movement, it has a attack, and it has a defensive maneuver. The same with run, movement, attack, defensive maneuver, and so on and so forth. So all of these cards are set up so that they have these 3 areas, and you get to decide when you want to play your cards. So let's say I'm playing Technoth the Dread, and we flip over who's next, and we find out that I'm next to activate. So then I'm going to play one of my cards. And so let's say I play a dash. So I can play a dash here. And this is my character right here. And so I can move 2 spaces and I can face any direction. Now facing is important because the way you're facing is going to depend on where you can attack. So let's say I go 1, 2, and I face that direction. So then my card would be played, that would go in a discard pile, and that would be the end of my turn. Then we would reveal who gets to go next. So let's say we revealed that Rephagus gets to go next. He's going to play a card. He's going to play a Swift Step. And he's going to move 1, and he can face any direction. So he might face right towards me. And then we're going to continue to draw cards, and everybody's going to activate. Eventually, a clash is going to ensue. And so what's going to happen when a clash is going to ensue is my turn's going to come up, and then I'm going to say I'm going to play Critical Strike. So I look at my card, which shows my attack areas. In this case, I have a melee attack and I have a ranged attack. On my card, I'm going to see that there's some light blue zones and some dark blue zones. The dark blue zones are my more powerful attack zone, and the light blue zones are my less powerful attack zone. So as you can see, for my melee attack, if I'm facing this direction, then this would be my more powerful attack zone, and these two would be my less powerful attack zones. Let's move Golfus over here. So then if you look at my ranged attack, you're going to see that this is my less powerful attack zone, as well as here and here and here and here. And this, where he's standing, in this location here, is my more powerful attack zones. So I'm going to attack him. He's in one of my more powerful attack zones based on my range. So I'm going to say I'm going to do a ranged attack on him. I'm going to use Critical Strike. Critical Strike tells me that I get 2 dice. So I get 2 dice to roll. And it also says if your opponent takes any critical injuries from this attack, they must draw 1 or more critical injury cards than they otherwise would. Now these are critical injury cards. You get these cards when you get damaged. So let's take a look at how that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at my card, and I'm going to see that I need a 3+ to hit when he's in my critical zone. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice. And I've got 1 hit and 1 miss. So that would do 1 damage to him. So I would put a damage on his card like that. Now, that's not going to give him a critical hit. What's going to give him a critical hit is if I fill up his card with damage all the way to the bottom. So the interesting thing about this game is you don't die when your card gets completely filled up. What happens is your health marker moves down 1. So when you fill up the card completely to the bottom and you have to put another one on, what you do is you move the marker down, you remove all the damage that's on the card, and you continue on, just like that. And so then you would continue putting damage on, just like that. Now, once you get past the bottom, anytime you go past the bottom, you draw a critical action card. Now, this critical action card is going to do things. Like this is going to move his energy token up 2 spaces. So we're going to take his energy token and we're going to move it up 2 spaces. And then we discard this card. So this is actually a fairly good critical injury card. And this Critical Strike that I played also causes me to go down in energy. So you can see on here that it says to move mine down. So I'm going to move mine down. So now you're going to notice he's in the 3 and I'm in the 2. Also, this says that if he gets any critical injury cards, he has to take another one, so he would have to take another one. So this says move your energy token up 1 space, so he's going to move his energy token up 1 space. And then it's going to say, then slide one of his damage markers on this fighter's reference card so that it covers a healthy box and reveals the wounded box. If all healthy boxes are already covered, this has no further effect. So what's going to happen is he's going to have to cover up one of his attacks, and it's going to make his attacks worse. So he's going to go ahead and say, well, I don't do a lot of ranged attacks, so I'm going to cover up my ranged attacks. And now, when he does a ranged attack, his 2 hit and his damage is going to be either increased or decreased. So his 2 hit is going to be increased, and his damage is going to be decreased. And so that way, it makes it harder for him to hit people. So as you fight, and as you get wounded, you get weaker and weaker. Now, the significance of this track here is at the end of each round, this is how many cards that you get to put into the activation pool. So now, whenever we go to the next round, so let's say we're going to the next round, we're all going to turn in our activation cards, and each player is going to put in the number of activation cards into the next pool that it shows on their energy. So this guy's going to get 3. This guy is going to get 3 as well. So 1, 2, 3. This guy is going to get 4. And I am only going to get 2. So now, even though I spent a lot of energy damaging my opponent in the last round, now I'm a little bit hamstrung for being able to attack in this round, because I know that I'm only going to get 2 attacks. So the game is quite fun. You run around doing movement and doing attacks, and also doing defenses. So on the cards, there are also defensive movements. Like this one says dodge. So you can play this card after a ranged attack action is made against you. Roll a dice. On a result of 5 or 6, you suffer no wounds. So when I ranged attacked him, he could have said, okay, I'm playing a dodge. He could have rolled a dice. And he could have, if he would have rolled a 5 or a 6, he would have taken no wounds at all. So each one of these cards allows you to do an attack, a move, and an evasive or defensive maneuver. And that's how the game goes. You play the game out over as many rounds as it takes to actually have one player left. It's the last player standing who wins the game, and it's a total blast. It's a very, very unique game in the fact that you have no idea when you are going to go. So you can run up into the fray and then not go again until way down where you've just been pummeled by every other player. You can get lucky and run up and get to go 3 times in a row and just destroy somebody. But you got to be careful, because as you change this energy board, as you play cards and the energy board changes, then you're going to have less and less turns in the next round. So it is very, very fun game. Very fun to run around here, attack, shoot, ranged, and melee, and each one of these characters has a special ability. And this guy's special ability is that every time it's his turn, every time his card is drawn, he gets to roll a dice, and if he rolls a 6, he removes some wounds from his thing. And every one of them has different abilities that make the game unique. And it's a very fun game. And it's a very fun filler game because it doesn't really take that long to play. As you can see, the board is quite small. It doesn't take up a lot of room on the table. And you can jump into this game like within just a couple minutes, and it's a really fun game. So I really, really enjoy this game. Now, this game was a Barnes and Noble exclusive. You could only get it at Barnes and Noble. I think currently you still can get it at Barnes and Noble. So if this looks interesting to you, you could try to pick this up. But the reason that I'm making this video is because Games Workshop, the maker of Warhammer, just announced a couple days ago that there is a new version of this coming out. It's going to be sold exclusively at Barnes and Nobles. It's called Combat Arena, the Lair of the Beast. It's going to have 10 miniatures in it. 9 are going to be actual players, and the 10th is going to be a beast that runs around the arena and tries to attack you while you're attacking each other. So it just seems like it adds a lot of mayhem to the game. One of the things I wish this game had was more characters to choose from, a little more variety, and that's going to be taken care of in that new set. So I'm very, very excited about this new set that comes out. I'm hoping to get a copy when it comes out, and if I do, I'll definitely make a video showing it off, and then probably do a playthrough, get a couple people to play, and do a playthrough of us playing it so you guys can watch us play. One thing to note is with the Games Workshop games, these come on sprues. They are not put together when you get them. You do have to assemble them, but these are all press fit miniatures, so there's no glue involved. So I put all of these together. It didn't take very long, and they went together quite easily, and they're very solid once you put them together. You snap them together and they don't seem to fall apart. I was afraid that they might fall apart, but they don't. They do a really good job of making these so that they snap fit. They do come unpainted, and you can paint them if you're into that, but I'm more of a board gamer than a painter, so I like to just play the games. But if you're into painting, this also gives you the ability to paint. That new version that's coming out is going to have 10 figures that come with it, so it's going to give you a lot of things to paint if you're into that. I'm not sure what the retail price is going to be, but I'm guessing around $50. This one, if you can still find it, is $35. So I'm kind of adjusting for the more miniatures that come in the new one, and so I'm thinking about $50 probably, which is not bad these days for a game with miniatures. I know that a lot of companies like CMON and those have games that are up over $100. So if that's the case, then that should be pretty reasonable. I will let you know. Like I said, I'm going to try to get a copy of it as soon as Barnes and Noble gets it, and then I'll let you know. I'll do an unboxing. I'll show you the figures, and I'll talk about what the price is when it comes out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I highly recommend this game. If you can get a copy of it, if you can grab a copy of this while it's still available, I highly recommend getting that. If you can get a copy of the new one, I think that's going to be amazing. I'm very, very excited about it. I love this game. If you have a bunch of friends that get together and you guys just like to beat each other up and run in there and just tangle, this is the game that you want to play. It's fast, it's furious, and it is a ton of fun. So if you guys have any questions about Combat Arena, or you have any questions at all about the new one that's coming out, or have any questions for me in general, feel free to put them in the comments below. I always try to answer all my comments. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, I'm selling 3D print STLs on Colts3D.com, so you can check that out there. And hopefully, really soon, you'll see me in another video for Combat Arena, Lair the Beast.